Well, hello, folks. This is Buffalo Rambler.
And this is Legs.
And thank you for listening to another episode of False Reality Check today. We had a blast talking to our friends from Truthzilla.
Oh, yeah. Megan, Ed, and Scott. Those folks are really fun to talk to. And we had a good time just shooting the shit on the latest events from that day. And we recorded when Biden gave his mandates out.
Oh, yeah.
So we...
Vice President Biden.
We talked a little about that and talked some music and just not really strategizing on how to get out, but
kind of planning for the future.
Yeah, plans on the future and yeah. I don't know. I think you guys you and Megan had a good connection, especially with definitely. It was so fun to finally connect with Megan.
Yeah.
Because I say it in the episode, but another chick in podcasting.
Yes.
You know, it's rare to connect to that.
Yeah.
So every time we get a chance to talk to another female, I get excited.
Oh, you guys are special. Your uteri line up like Wi-Fi routers, you know?
Uteri?
I don't know if there's a plural for uterus. Uteruses? Uteri?
I like uteri.
Okay. I'm just trying to use the proper term.
Oh, man. But yeah, it wasn't just Megan and I.
No.
Going off, you know.
No.
It was all of us.
It was all of us going off, and we all had a good time. I love hearing what they have to say, and I feel like I learn a lot every time, you know, we talk to somebody who's smart and
of course
makes great content and talks to intelligent people.
Yeah, they're always having amazing guests. And Truthzilla. I mean, that name alone is it's great.
It's fantastic.
They're great.
You can find them on Rockfin, and we'll put all their connections and everything in the show notes. But they also have great merch, so you should check that out.
Yes, and we'll include Scott's.
His Give, Send, Go.
Yes,
because unfortunately he's a victim of these mandates, and like we're probably about to be as well.
Yeah, so we'll put the link for that. So if you feel like donating to him,
it's not a GoFundMe, so he will get the money.
Yeah, it'll go to him.
Yeah, it's a great organization. We contributed. We encourage our listeners to do the same if they can afford to.
Yeah. We got to help each other out in these weird times.
Exactly. All we have is each other, folks.
That's
have is each other.
That's right.
All right. I'll get into my Lex Friedman / Greg Carlwood style intro for them. Megan, Ed, and Scott are 3 truly genuine people finding their path through this false reality while helping others like us along the way by lighting a path of truth. Each of the Truthzilla hosts have gifts and talents that complement and balance each other. This makes them 3 of the strongest warriors for truth, justice, and peace that I have ever met. We go into quite a bit on this Swapcast episode, and it was a blessing to connect with each and get to know Megan, Ed, and Scott on a deeper level. It's always a gift from the Creator to expand our soul family by a few more people. Listeners, please welcome Megan, Ed, and Scott from one of our favorite shows, Truthzilla.
How are you guys?
Doing great.
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing real well. Yeah.
Looking beautiful.
Yes.
You guys too.
Oh, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Yeah.
Crap. I'm literally in a fight right now with some guy from Antifa. It's hilarious. It's
Oh my
great.
God.
No, he's not. He's making headway.
You are
He's having actually.
red pilling this.
I'm red pilling. It's actually so.
It's a reasonably respectful
Yeah, it is.
dialogue.
I came at him with some. I don't know. Let's just jump right into it. You guys good?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Yeah.
Whoa,
It's
really
fun.
quick. Before we start, there's been a lot of spiritual loose sucking shit today.
Yes.
A lot of terrible shit. Let's just take a deep breath. Let's
Good
remember
suggestion.
we're abundant, we're blessed, we're fearless, we're vibing with each other, we love each other. Let's have a good conversation. Megan, Scott, Ed, Truthzilla, welcome. False
I gotta-
reality check.
and you guys got this is it Buffalo and Legs? Is it
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Legs.
No. Yes. No. I'm Buffalo. She's Legs.
Right on.
One
Thank you guys.
second, I gotta get the.
Yeah. Sorry. So we aren't ready. Yeah. So.
No, it's okay.
No
You guys
worries.
for jumping on early. I appreciate it.
Oh,
I
no.
love your
yeah.
setup. You guys have such a nice setup.
Yeah, that's
man.
pretty.
We're still here with little
What I like our setup
Guitar
too,
Center
dude. No, what are
mics
you
and
saying?
stuff.
It's so rad. I love our setup.
Yeah, I love your guys' setup.
It's
I think you need
original.
to keep it. It's original.
We're like country family kitchen.
Yeah, we recently just tried the standing thing.
Yeah.
Are you guys standing right now?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
standing. It
Well,
feels
we've been
better.
talking. See, we've been talking about doing because I have an extruded disc like in the bottom of my vertebrae. So like sitting for more than 15 or 20 minutes, I'm like starting to be in agony. I'm like hanging on the table.
Yeah.
And so I've been saying we got to build a table so we can just like stand at it and like.
See how they got the stands like that, like the little scissor arms.
I have
Yeah.
a leather couch. Let's
Yeah.
take advantage of it.
Yeah, I was thinking the couch with the green screen. That's kind of
Yeah.
my next idea for the next
I'm with you.
iteration of this thing.
Maybe your back will be fine on the couch.
Yeah, probably
maybe.
not though, right?
She
So
could-
you
she
see,
could-
because like with the soft surfaces, it's no go.
We've discussed it. You could just lay down on the couch.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, laying down on the one side works.
Lay
so.
across them.
Yeah. I still think the trampoline's a good idea.
Yeah.
Ah, not
It is a
bad.
great idea.
Or bean bags. We need to bring that back. Bean bags were huge when I was
Yeah.
really young. Man, I love bean bags.
All right, I think we're all rolling here. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I think our plan, if you guys want to like send me the video file when you get
Yeah.
a sec, and then we can just put it out on our end too. Like we were
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about doing it as our main episode on Sunday for the
Yeah.
week.
For sure.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right,
Little
let's do this
Swapcast,
thing.
little Swapcast action.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when we first started, like one of the things I reached out to Sam Tripoli and I said, what is it? What would you be your suggestions for a new podcast show? And he's like, have a good name and do Swapcast with other people. And I was like, okay, cool. So I think you guys got a great name. And so just getting out there and you guys are doing, I mean, I'm stoked. I'm always stoked to see people just following their passion. You guys are doing the deal, man. I just freaking love it, man. Like it's so crazy. So crazy. Like we're always saying, like go start a freedom cell, go start a podcast. Like I don't care what you're doing. Like we need it,
And the idea of like our loosh being stolen today, I definitely lost a little bit, but
Oh, yeah.
this is what brings it back, man. This is why we started. And I bet you guys can relate. Like, dude, the world is fucking crazy, right? So
Yes.
so like this is where I bring back my sanity and like put things in perspective.
Mhm.
Because like in reality, a lot of what we're dealing with is illusion, right? It's not real. A lot of it's like it's this threat. It feels like it's going to take away everything, but like in reality, like we actually have pretty good lives, right? And
Oh,
we
yeah.
have,
Oh yeah. 100%.
Mhm.
so
It's
Anywho.
yeah. I mean, I if you look at like, I always go back to like certain times in history too. There's been times in history where it felt like it was all going to end, like the Cuban Missile Crisis, you know what I mean? Like it's like those
Oh.
folks, literally every second we're thinking that like the whole world was going to evaporate into like nuclear haze, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Right.
and so now it's like, I don't know. Like, is literally the UN going to show up at our door? Like, is that really going to happen? Or are they just really trying to like scare us? Like, what the hell?
I
I think eventually, yes.
Yeah.
you think
Okay.
eventually they will? You
I
for sure
do.
think that?
Yes, 100%.
Oh man. I was talking to Legs about this today. I was just thinking, I'm like, you know what? If you really think about it, we outnumber, law enforcement. Let's include all
Yeah.
FBI, let's include police, local police, county, whatever. We outnumber them by at least 25 to 50 to 1, depending
Yeah.
on any given day on how many people work, an actual shift. There's no way that they could do that. Like they could try, they would do their
Yeah, I think they'll
best.
try. Yeah, and especially in more populated areas. Like I don't know that the people, they're like outliers of the big cities, people on their own farms, and I don't know them so much. But I think like people who are arrested to the big cities over the next few years. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, though. I say that always, but also I just don't see. I don't know. I don't see how it goes the other direction at this point.
Well, somebody in our chat channels made a really good point. I was posting all this stuff, dude. I got so black pilled today. I'm just like, almost like it's just.
I was
it's
on a phone
crazy.
call today.
Yeah.
2 of them were the
Uh,
same situation. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but somebody in our chat channel made a really good point, and they said like, well, they kind of forgot the step where they take all our guns. They kind of skipped over that step. And I was like, oh yeah, they did, didn't they? So they're just bluffing. They're totally bluffing.
They
Okay,
have to-
but but so the whole gun thing though, when we talk about the gun
Yeah,
thing.
let's talk about the gun.
But this is what was
I-
this.
I
I,
love
I was
guns.
having this conversation with a friend. So the whole idea of us being armed is that's great. And like, we all know people who are armed. Maybe some of us are, maybe not. But the point of the matter is like, the conversation I was having was, okay, well, are they going to just keep coming for us? And then, you know, we can't stand up. And I said, well, my fear is that we don't stand up as they keep coming and coming for us, because what I fear or see happening, and I think that the way that they've been so effective is they're targeting one thing at a time. And when it really comes down to when we're talking about them at our doorsteps, you know, I feel like the hypothetical scenario I said today was, okay, well, if they come for my family and I'm armed, let's say that I am, and I want to use this weapon to defend my family. But now what we've got is a government institution, whatever arm that might be that they try to use, and my family against my family, they're coming for us one at a time. They're not coming into my neighborhood and collectively my neighborhood rises up together in arms. They're coming for people one at a time. They're coming for people one job at a time. They're coming for children one mask at a time. And so it becomes harder to then, as reasonable, grounded human beings, we're not psychopaths. We're not going to just go out with our weapons and start our own civil war in our neighborhoods. And so what they've done to us too, by keeping us censored and keeping us disconnected, is they've made it hard for us to collaborate and meet in big groups and plan something. If this line gets crossed in this city, this is where the citizens go. This is where we say no more. Like, they've made it so that we can't do that as effectively. And so it's not, I think that that's where they've kind of slipped under the radar with the guns. We were so afraid they're going to come from. We're still afraid they're going to, and they probably will always try to do that. But if they're really not coming at us collectively, and they just come at one family, they just come at one farm, they just come at one citizen, it's really an example that can be made of that person. So if I come out of my house with my weapons blazing and I'm dead in the road, now the family next to me that maybe was armed just saw what happened to me and they don't stand up now. Now they get in line. That's my worst case scenario. And I think we've all said we've been blackpilled today. So, but that's kind of where my mind goes with that.
Different view, though.
Okay, do tell.
I don't apply it though just to guns. I think like that they've been shutting us down in so many ways ever since this thing started, right? And I always go to like the examples of like the posse. I always use the high wire as the example. Like, right, they get kicked off of YouTube and Facebook. And I don't know if they're on Instagram, but anyways, they get kicked off these major platforms. And the same thing happened with like Alex Jones, right? Yeah. They get kicked off. They start their own through their own website. They start hosting their own videos and they grow exponentially. Right. I think that as they've tried to close all these doors on us, I mean, I never would have been in a freedom cell in 2019. Right. Yeah. Like I wouldn't be meeting with people, going to festivals with all like-minded people in 2019. It wasn't going to happen. Right. Like we have connected, and I think guns are a piece, but the reality is I think guns are necessary because we must be able to defend ourselves. Right. But like, we're not going to attack them. Right. Right. And the reality is, if they want to kill us, they have drones that can do it. They don't even have to be near us.
Exactly.
When you talk to any of your friends that have been in the military, they can take us out at any time if they want. Like, right. And but what I think is going to happen, and I think it's the whole idea of the new world. And I think that there's been this major shift in is that we don't fight them on their terms, right? We don't. We just cut ourselves off from our dependence on them, and we start our own ways of doing things. And our ways,
that's the way out.
And we outlast them, right? Yeah. We watch them die from their vaccine. We watch the people that just their world gets worse until it is the Nazi Germany we've been telling them it's going to be, you know. And we're outside those smart cities and living on our own. We're the fucking new Amish is really what we are, right? Yeah. Like, that's what we are. I mean, essentially, but I think that's almost written into their plan for like the Agenda 2030 and whatnot. Like they're not going to talk about the outliers. They're not going to. We're going to be the outliers, right? We kind of already are the outliers. We just have to we just have to maintain it out, right? And, but the reality is, dude, we have connected with more amazing people in the last 18 months than in our lives preceding that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
From all over the world, and like you guys are in that now too. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a blessing. Like out of all this, there's been so much darkness and so much awfulness. But Ed's right, man. Like we're building this new world. We're like it's like out of the ashes. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. I looked into freedom cells in our area, and it seems like there really isn't anything. So we could potentially start something in our immediate area. There's some freedom cells outside of our area, but I don't think they're actually getting together and doing anything. It's more of like a bitch fest, you know, chatting online. But yeah, freedom cells seems to be the way. And talking with your neighbors, getting prepared, you know, it's so hard to just the area we're in to go to your neighbor and try and start a conversation.
Totally.
They'll
They
have to
look
the
at
door
you-
with a mask.
They'll look at you so weird, like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh,
it's
exactly.
sad.
Why aren't you in your home afraid
Yeah.
of everything like I am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about this with Matt Raymer from Content Safe recently, who's living in Southeast Asia, and like he was telling me, like his between all of his neighbors and stuff, like they have, you know, the house that has the chickens, and they have the house that's growing this food. Like they've created that network, which is exactly what we know we kind of need to do, right? So we can
Right.
survive whatever happens. But you know, I thought about it. It's like we don't have to have the same common beliefs about what's going on to say, hey, do you think that there could be some major food shortages coming? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at what we've seen. Look,
yeah.
we've already
Yeah.
lost toilet paper and whatever the hell else, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't think it's anyone on either side.
it's happening already.
See supply chains breaking down, right?
Yeah.
Supply chains are breaking down for sure. So what they might think it's because the truckers are going to strike because they're white supremacists, you know, but like,
Is that
Right?
what they're
Like-
spinning it? Are they spinning
well,
it that
I'm
they're
just
white
saying, like, you
supremacists?
know, I mean, like what happened in Australia, you know, the truckers are like
Yeah, yeah.
blocking the
Yeah, yeah.
ports and whatnot, you know, I mean, they'll spin it how they spin it, right? It does, we don't have to agree to like take care of each other, you know, when the supply chains do run out, because I
Mhm.
mean, the reality is that could happen anytime now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, every day it's like seems like it's happening quicker.
Yep.
That's
It's
true.
getting crazy. Are there
Yeah.
any like real movement for the freedom cells that you guys are involved in? Are people getting together and kind of planning, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this? Or
Okay. So here's kind of our story with the Freedom Cell deal. And like, I have to admit, okay, so basically what happened is we had listeners reach out to us early on and they said, hey, have you guys ever heard of Freedom Cells? And we're like, no, what's that? And then they were from Portland. So we're in Eugene, about 2 hours south of Portland.
Well, and they know, I mean, Adam.
Oh yeah.
It was Adam.
Okay.
Yeah, bring it
Yeah, you
back
guys
to
know
it.
Adam. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Adam hit us up, and then when he's like, "Hey, you guys got to get involved with Freedom Cells," we're like, "Okay." So we actually drove up to Portland to one of their meetups up there, and this was like last summer. You know what I mean? In the height of all the madness. And so, as soon as we walked in, it was like they were talking about chemtrails and CIA mind control stuff, and we're like, "Oh my god." We're home. Thank God. and so like I left that meeting so invigorated that we came and we just literally just went to freedomcells.org and just started our own little page right there saying we call it the Oregon Willamette Valley Freedom Cell. And people just started trickling in. People started like showing up because I feel like this is right when like who was it? Like Derek Rose had been on like Corbett Report. So there was a lot of like
Mhm.
a lot of energy around it, you know, and I still think that it is that way. And I think like in your guys' situation, you know, I think a lot of people go to the website to look for one in their area and they don't see one there. And then they kind of just like, well, I guess that's that. And then they walk away. But I think it's one of those things that if you build it, they will come. You know, I'm sorry, I talk about this on the show all the time, but like that's that. I think that's very much the case. And then it kind of spreads from there. So last year we were doing meetups like every other weekend, blah, 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 hitting it really hard. And then it got to this point where we decided to do like a little festival. So we did like this whole like little freedom festival. And yes, and up until that point, it was very much like skill sharing. And now there's another organization here called People's Rights Oregon that has been doing a great job of doing like clinics and classes. And each week they have like a different topic and a different speaker. Like I went to one a few weeks ago and they were teaching us like about ham radios, about how to
Nice.
use ham radios and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I know that
Now
there's
we all
like,
have ham radio.
yeah, we all have ham radios.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need to go.
And yours is sitting right there.
Right there.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but it's, you know what I mean? And so that has been cool. But anyway, so we had this big festival back in July and it was super awesome. Like, oh my God, it was the most amazing thing ever. Like we had all these speakers like Dr. Paul Thomas and we had like Bob Snee, who's like Oregonians for Medical Freedom there. It was just like an amazing, Matt Landman from Frankenskies was there, did a presentation. Tim James from Chemical Free Body. And it's just like, man, it was like, and then the event itself, just live music. You guys, it was just so amazing. And then just the planning of that, like I was so involved with that. I just got so burned out, dude. And I just like, I had kind of let the Freedom Cell thing fall by the wayside. And I kept putting posts out there, like saying, hey, you guys, like anybody that wants to set up a meeting, like this is completely decentralized. Like I don't need to be involved in the planning of this. Like, please, I want you guys to take the reins on this. And
We're bringing it back.
We're going to start bringing it back.
We're bringing it back.
So is that what had kind of
yeah.
dissolved?
It kind of fell
think
apart. I mean,
think it has.
everybody's
I
still
think we
there.
just-
I mean, in the meetings,
If we
not
have
the
a
group.
meeting, they
Yeah.
will come.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
think there's
But I think another fear of mine is,
no.
yeah, exactly. Well, another fear of mine is like, you know, so during the summer or during the spring and summer, like the tyranny kind of, they ratcheted it back a little bit, you know what I mean? So I think people kind of took their eyes off the prize, like, oh, wow, everything's back to normal. Maybe I don't need to worry about
5 weeks without masks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 5 weeks.
Exactly. But I feel like some people
Until we got outdoor masking.
Yeah, some people got the attitude of like, well, maybe I don't need to, learn how to garden anymore or any of that stuff. And so now we're back to the place. Okay. So it's just like the ratchet, right? So it lighten, it loosens and then just cranks down, and then it loosens and then just cranks
But we
down.
all said this would happen
Yeah.
too. It did happen though earlier than we thought. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking August. I was thinking September.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it would happen so soon. After today's little speech by former vice president there, he totally dropped the ball. I was the first thing that he announced was, if you have federal contracts, and I'm like, well, there's both our companies. We both have federal. I mean, I don't work on anything federal, but my company has federal contracts, so I'm sure they're going to lump me in that. And then they came out with, what did you say? Any company with 100 employees or more?
Employees, 100, yeah.
And then they're going to be fined $14,000 for every violation. I'm like, who's enforcing this? There's like not even enough OSHA people to do this.
Yeah.
It's going to set up a private sector of enforcement, probably.
Oh,
Probably.
What's going to happen if they're really going to go through with this?
You said earlier, like the COVID cleaning services.
Yeah, like the stupid COVID cleaning services, and what else, like the tracers.
Oh,
that
yeah.
are,
Contact tracers.
It's just going to be another thing that they're going to roll out for jobs.
It's a jobs program, government jobs program.
Totally, man. It's so disgusting, dude. Like, I don't even know where to begin with it, man. I was right before the show, like I just made a tweet thinking, like, the thought just occurred to me. It's like, okay, so they need, like, there's gonna be some big false flag here in the very near future, probably this weekend, probably by the time
probably by September 11th. What do you think? Maybe.
Yeah, probably by the time this episode comes out, or I don't know. But like,
all of us better be at home with witnesses before we get accused of being at some rally somewhere on that day.
Dude,
like,
not gonna happen. Although I am doing outreach in the park with Derek Bros on Saturday.
Shit.
In Portland.
Well, don't tell us where. Don't say where you're gonna be.
It's gonna be in Portland, dude. It's gonna be in Portland. We're gonna be fucking doing public outreach at Mount Tabor Park Saturday, 11/3.
Oh my God.
Antifa, meet me there, Antifa. No, it's gonna. But anyway, so on September 11th too. But you know what I mean. But I feel like this last few months, this whole last like 9 months, has literally just been them setting the stage and putting all the pieces in place for some just horrible false flag that they'll blame on all the anti-vaxxer, whatever, white supremacists, domestic terrorists, right?
They'll turn up the Gwen towers and get those vaccines to really react inside people's bodies, and then they're all going to fall over dead, and then it'll be all of our faults.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, so that, but I'm thinking more of like a terror attack of some kind. They're going to do something really blatant and well,
didn't they say questioning the election results was a terrorist act? I mean, at this point, everything
lockdown protests, terrorist acts. But anyway, so now with this little push, like this is just a huge push. Now the stage is perfectly set. So now if there's a false flag this weekend, you guys, it's just blatant. Part of the tweet I said is like, we all come in love and peace and truth. That's it. We're not about any of this other crazy shit that they're trying to put on us, right? But and there's no way that I would want to make a martyr out of these tyrants. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want to give them any more ammunition against us. You know what I mean? We're not here to do that. So
I just think this is. My thinking has shifted a lot around. I mean, I think we've kind of known this day was coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
We've kind of seen the writing on the wall with this stuff, and this is where we create the new world. We had Kevin Jenkins on, who's amazing. He literally is starting an airline company for freedom, as Freedom Airways, right? Like, so people can fly on planes without a mask on and without a vaccine, right? Like, this is where we have to create, like I've always said, like if they won't let you in the grocery store, we create our own organic grocery store, right? Like I know it's not comfortable at the time, but this is, in the long run, we're going to have all this. We're going to be on the better side, right? We're going to have the better services. We're going to have what we need. The reality is what we've seen over the last, 18 months. What we maybe should have seen for the many, many decades preceding it is just like how messed up the system was before, how much the pharmaceuticals were harming people, how much the food was just poison, right? Like, now that we know this stuff, now we can take all this knowledge and we can build the new world, and we can build it better, right? Like I always say, build your own better, right? Like, fuck build back better, build your own better. This is our opportunity. And believe me, I have kids and my life is so packed. And like, if I think about it in those terms, it stresses me out. But, obviously I have work at this job that's, I think right about 100 people. So I'm like, but they've followed every guideline issued from the state, like to the T. So I'm just waiting for it now. But my little section of the office, like we're a little team of like our office specifically has 6 people in it, and we're literally 3 people that have not been vaxxed and won't get vaxxed versus 3 people that are and totally buy into the whole thing. So like they're gonna lose half of us, right? Like half of us, like there's no way, right? Like we're not going to be coerced into this. Like I've had those discussions with them, so it's so they lose too, man. They lose. Like the reality, I mean, look at what's happening with the hospitals, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they're already short staffed, and you're gonna lose all these great nurses and doctors that know what's up with this jab. Like you're just going to lose them. Then you're going to further the staffing shortage that they cost. Like right in Oregon, we have the National Guard in our
Which they're not being
hospitals.
paid. Did you hear about that? I heard that they're not being paid.
Who?
The National Guard that she deployed here in the hospitals, they're not getting paid till after their whatever at the end of it.
After they get their shots or whatever.
So they're and then did I hear that the military had not up until today? Now I didn't hear that part of his speech. The military hadn't been mandated to take it.
No, I think they've been pushing pretty hard for the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been weird things with the military because it's the EUA thing is what I've heard. Like it's because with when it was under EUA, they weren't able to like force it on the military, but like, and now with this tricky approved, not approved, whatever the fuck happened, I think they're trying to push it, but I don't know how that's going.
The military is pretty big on giving injections. Like when my brother was deployed in Afghanistan, he was saying that they were like on the plane over and they had them all lined up with their sleeves up and they had these huge guns. And he was like, one of them, he said literally was like neon green. He said, and they literally just go one to the next. And they don't tell you what it is. They just tell you need it because you're going over there.
This is how we create super soldiers.
Oh,
yeah. Just crazy stuff. So
they're the test subjects, I think.
Totally.
They're in Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
In Australia, apparently.
Poor Australia.
Israel.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, how do we get them guns? Like
Yeah,
that was what I was
exactly.
wondering. Like, how do we ship them guns over
Yeah,
there?
we need to airdrop them some freaking, I don't know, man. So I hear you guys are making a move soon. Is that am I right on that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying.
We're working on
Okay.
it.
Like what does that look like? Like what was the final straw and like how's that process been going for you? Like is it scary? Just
It's
uprooting?
It's a little scary, but it's the right thing to do, I think, for us. Like when we went to visit Idaho, was it in July?
Yeah.
It just felt like home. It felt like we needed to be there. We belonged there.
Nice people.
Great
small
community.
towns.
So we've been looking daily. Our original plan was to go with family.
Mhm.
There's been some hiccups with that, some drama.
Some family drama.
Yeah.
We had to switch plans, and now we're just gonna figure it out ourselves.
We're gonna sell, take the money, and buy. So we might be like misplaced for a little bit
we don't
in the meantime.
we don't want a mortgage.
No.
So we
Yeah.
want the cash up front.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we can do it. The prices here in California have soared pretty good.
Yeah, I bet.
I think we can sell, pay off what's left of our mortgage, and take what we have and literally pay cash for something and have,
That'd be amazing.
have a little extra, Get some
Perfect.
Totally.
Fantastic.
And there's
Yeah.
there's some good prospects up there.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at right now. As far as our jobs, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Might not have them next week. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thought is we'd be able to take those with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do work from home. So that is the
Okay.
bonus. I do work from home. They've been pushing, they haven't pushed us to get vaccines, but they've been pushing us to disclose. I've been refusing. I don't disclose because it's none of their business. And
Damn right.
if they wouldn't ask me that if I, had HIV or something, right? They
Right.
wouldn't do that. So I'm making a stand. I don't want to let them know. And I don't want them to create a system of 2 different classes of people at work.
Yeah.
So they might fire me just for that. I'm not really sure. Haven't heard back from HR other than you should call HR.
Yeah, and they're being super shady too, because
Yeah.
he's trying to get something in writing from them, and they're like, "Oh no, just give us a call.
Give us a
and
call.
we'll talk about it." And it's like, no.
I'm like, yeah, I'll call you. I'll record the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh man. Well, like we just keep going back and forth on that. You know what I mean? Like, do we stay and fight or do we just I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's
what are
tough.
you guys? Are you guys gonna stick it out?
Idaho is funny. I had family visiting from California like 2 weeks ago, and they're in like the heart, like right outside San Francisco. They're all like Bay Area. It's where I grew up, and it's obviously, you guys know, it's atrocious. And all my cousins are just like, everyone's like armed and like not taking the vaccine and not masking up. And like one of my cousins has been a firefighter for 20 something years, like in Hayward, he's like in one of the busiest firehouses, and it's just like a whole thing. And they're like, if it gets too much hotter, like literally all of the extended families, like we're all going to Idaho. And so my aunt who was visiting was like, I don't want to, like, my whole family group in the Bay Area, we like to have our nails done. We like to, like, we like our creature. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just speaking to like the women of my family.
I'm pretty
like,
sure they do nails in Idaho.
when you grow up, but
Just
living in San Francisco is much different than living in Idaho. And so I have family that's like still in love with the idea that maybe we can continue life the way that it is, maybe. And I'm like, well, that would be great. I don't see that happening at all. And I think like I'm torn between, because we have a house in Eugene, and I'm like, well, do we sell it? And if so, then like what my thought is to sell it, because where we live is great. We're not right in the heart of town, but we might as well be like, can walk to downtown. It's not far. Like, you know what I mean? So all the cell towers are around. All of my neighbors have all their Ring cameras, like and so I feel like ultimately, like we need to be out of the cities, completely out of the cities. But when is that line? And so that's where I'm at with my family, because I have 6 children. 3 of them are grown. I don't think I've said on air at all, but I will say I'm going to be a Mimi in January. So my oldest daughter is expecting. Congrats. And so there's like, thank you. So there's this whole, extended family situation where I don't want to leave without my children. I don't leave without my children's people. I have 2 ex-husbands. We all co-parent really cohesively. Cool. I actually share a house with one of them who probably is going to get married later this year. So there's like a lot of us. It's not like I just make that decision and I take my 3 young ones. There's like so many of us. But what's really cool about my situation is like my whole unit is like, whatever we do, and like Scott and Ed, like whatever we all do, like we want to do as a unit. We want to have land where we can put tiny homes or build cob cottages or whatever it may be. But it really needs to be like, I literally want to find land where there's no cell coverage. There's no Wi-Fi. Like I know we need to have the Truthzilla studio. But I just feel like that I just want to be away from, I don't even want like the currency, electron, like any of it. Like if I have to completely withdraw, like if I'm not going to go to the mall anymore and I'm not grocery shopping and I'm not participating in all of society's little things, then I want to have the whole other experience. Like I'm going to grow my food. I want to have greenhouse. I want to have community. We're going to have rocket stoves. Yeah. And then like, we're going to have musicians come and like play around the fire at night. Musicians. I'm like, these amazing. But that's what I see. Cause I think that ultimately what like the struggle that I have, and I think that we all feel this, is like, do we stay? Do we go? But really it's not even that for me so much. I think it's like when, because this happens so like, we were able to we could breathe. We're allowed to go here and there. We don't. And now all of a sudden it's, we have to wear masks outside, which of course we're not doing that, but but it's just like overnight they just switch it. And so like, what if overnight they're submitting, for Congress that we can't fly without the vaccine passports. They're doing, what's next? Like, I'm thinking, all of a sudden we can't, like my family, literally, that's what they said from California. Like, we want to come up here before potentially we can't.
Well, that's
like,
the thing.
But that's in our back of everyone's mind. We're like, can we not like, and if we can't leave the state, how long is it before we can't leave our county? And if we can't leave our county, how long is it before neighborhoods? Totally.
Game over, man.
Totally. And so that's like I'm like, I want to get off grid. I want to have like solar generators. That's like a big expense thing, because I bought the big chest freezer and I started storing meat in it. And I'm like, well, what if they cut off my friggin' power? So now I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this a little bit backwards, but now we need a solar generator and I'm storing like the rice and
gasification.
Like, what is it?
Gasification. You
guys
familiar with gasification?
No, what's that?
I just started learning about it, but it's definitely something that I want to learn more about. Gasification is basically the idea of converting wood into fuel, and it's totally a deal. It's like, okay, gasification on the Wikipedia page, and I didn't even know about this. Converts biomass into, so basically there are cars that run off of wood chips, right? And so basically, so just look it up too. And so basically the idea being like the engine runs off of wood chips, and then like I said, I'm just getting into this, but I feel like this is like such like a revolutionary thing. Like, I just so crazy that nobody knows about it. But if you think about it, like, so then you take that engine and the vehicle engine, and you take it out and you just convert it to just be like a generator, right? The same mechanical energy, and it'll like create power out of wood chips.
What about the ones that run on water?
And
Can we
water,
just do-
okay, yeah.
Can we just do a
Didn't-
water
didn't-
generator?
Didn't
Probably,
they kill
yeah.
the people that tried that
They did
before?
that. They
Okay,
did. They
just
did.
checking.
Yeah.
But this is
Sure they
like
got
Son and father, am I correct?
something
Okay.
like
They
that.
weren't far enough out on their farm in Idaho.
That's what it was.
Yep. But anyways, yeah, just it's even on Wikipedia, gasification, how to convert wood chips into like energy. Like it's just insane. It just makes no sense to me how this is not just a
Or you can do like even
viable
like wind turbines. You can do
Yeah.
small ones and like have them somehow. Like my brother lives off grid in Missouri. They have for almost 10 years now.
Nice.
Fully running farm, no electricity, they have a well, but otherwise no electricity and no standard plumbing. Like they have composting toilets. They have 6 children. Like they have a whole beehives. And they went from, he was in in Afghanistan, and he came back just very like hurt and damaged and emotionally just they just did horrible things.
Yeah.
And he was in California, and there's the grind, working, trying to pay anything in California and trying to keep a roof over their head with young kids. He's like, this is not the life for us. He's like, we're completely done with this life. And they legit like took a trailer that was like for 2 people out in I think it was like in the fall when they got out there. So it was just like already getting cold in Missouri. They didn't know what to expect. They just knew they were being like pulled there. Like he knew, like they went out and they looked for land for, I don't know how long. And when he walked on this land, he's like, yep, he called his wife. He's like, I'm home. I found our place. They've been buying up all the land around them because he's like, I don't want anybody on the land next to my land so they can see what we're doing. He's like, we just want it. So for all these years, he's been buying up all the plots around him. So he's just got, it's a pretty amazing situation. But then when I've been out there to visit them and I see that they've done this from only knowing what I did coming out of California, like, okay, so there's a literal like hope and encouragement for all of us, because he went from, like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Like what's composting, to like, we've got beehives and we're like taking herbs and plants off our land and making like all of these lichen, whatever, like what Tara was doing, like all these different elixirs and tinctures. Yeah. The kids get hurt and like, oh yeah, we know what to do. And they like come up with all of this amazing, tea tree oil with this and that. And it was healed in a week. And I'm like, but they learned it by living it. And they can share that information. Their children are like, they don't have electricity.
Yeah,
Those kids have never seen TV.
That's why we can't wait for the collapse to start learning this shit.
I know. So I don't know. I think moving is good. I love
Idaho.
I love the Pacific Northwest. I mean, California, you guys know how beautiful. I'm not saying like the people and the politics got nasty over the last few decades, and maybe it always was a little bit wonky, but it's pretty here, and our coastline is gorgeous, and our oceans cannot be compared with. But I don't know that that's going to be a really sustainable life long term for all of us, around these mics that know what's up. Like, I think if we want to have a fulfilling life, we're going to have to get out.
Yeah, I agree. I want to get as far out of the city as I possibly can, but still be close to like a small town. Like you said, we would like to keep the show going. We need some kind of internet, but being away from cell phone signals would be honestly amazing. Not having the ability to distract yourself and just work on your land, raising your food, doing what you need to do. And there's places that we could do that. As close as you get to it, let me know, because something I'm looking into is putting the land in a trust that's through an LLC with a hidden name. You can do that so that they can't even trace who owns the land. Okay. And that's a good way to protect yourself legally. And, because if you ever wanted to, let's say convert to like a 501c3, like a charity or, something like that, maybe teach people how to homestead, the land's protected. It can never be sold. So these are good things to know. Yeah. So really when it does come down to it, or like, and I know you guys are looking at moving, but we should continue like correspondence, because I feel like regardless, like over the next, 3 to 7 years, let me just put that number out there. I think that those of us that all know what's going on and those of us that all have connection, like we're going to want to stay connected for these very reasons, so that we can have fellowship, so that we can have, even just like bartering going on, like you're not going to grow what I'm going to grow. And I'm not a hunter, but I know people that are, you know what I mean? Like there's this whole community that can happen. And I think that that's the exciting part of like, when we talk about
figuring out different ways to school our kids, figuring out different ways to get our groceries, and that's exactly like you're saying, if we turn our cell phones off, like if I just leave my cell phone at home and I go do my exercise, whatever, what even happens and transpires in my mind is like so far beyond when I've got Pandora going so that I can do my exercise. Like it's a whole separate vibe, and it's uncomfortable and different to let it go. But also I'm like, I am better off. And we all know like about the impact that electronic frequencies can have, constantly having, especially like Bluetooth things in your ear where you've just got these signals, like I'm like conspiracy theorist, but also like,
no, it's true.
It's so true. And I'm hypersensitive to energy. Like if there's people at my house where I share a house with other people too, like my brother, I share a house with my brother. And then one of my oldest daughter is there currently. And there's just like all these things. And so there are some people up in the night and I need the internet to go off. I want the Wi-Fi to go off because I'm so like, I can almost like I don't know what to say, like, when your arm goes to sleep, how that feels, but I feel that like in such a light manner energetically. And I can feel it around certain people, like angry energies, but I feel it like from electronic devices. And so I always want that off in the night. And then there are people who are up all night doing their thing. So it's just like, I would love to have that be not the thing and still go to Truthzilla Studio for Wi-Fi though, just saying.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are ways to do it.
I've been wanting to turn our Wi-Fi off at night. I've been putting my phone on airplane mode. That's a step, but I want to turn the Wi-Fi off completely.
Turn it off.
Okay.
Turn it off.
It makes a big deal.
Not right now.
All right.
No, not right now. Don't do it right now, please. Yeah. I'm like, what our Bitcoin thing?
Oh,
We operate a node.
Okay, right on.
Okay, that's right. I forgot.
I'm like, I think
But is it Wi-Fi? Is it Wi-Fi or is it
connected through hardwire? I think.
There you go.
Make sure if it's connected through hardwire and you turn the Wi-Fi off,
you should be all right. Should be all right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. Right on. So I'm curious, what prompted you guys to want to start the podcast? Was it just like, did you just have enough of what was going on, or like tell me about how that came to fruition?
Yeah. So Buffalo, I don't know how many years back, he actually started a podcast with my brother.
Okay.
So he has experience in it. That kind of faded off.
Just a little bit.
That kind of faded away. He's always been wanting to start one with me. And this is like way out of my comfort zone. The thought of like speaking into a mic, like people hearing what I have to say, it freaks me out. It still freaks me out, but I'm getting better. Yeah, just that whole thing was kind of stopping me from wanting to move forward. And then just stuff kept happening in the news and all around us with our jobs and people that we talk to in our circles, just not listening to us and what we have, but not just, just what we have to say. They're always just shutting us down and going on the defensive. And when we would just want to have a conversation, about what's going on and how we feel about it. So, that kind of launched us into this, wanting to start this podcast, connect with people like you, other like-minded folks, build a community. So when it hits the fan, we have people we can communicate with and figure things out. That was that's like a, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, we're big fans. We listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
We watch you on Rockfin.
I remember seeing you guys on the Union of the Unwanted, like for the first time, like, who are these guys? That's such a cool name, and I'm like, oh my God, a chick. Like, thank God.
Fellow truth warrior females.
God.
Well, I was going to say what you said about it being hard. That has been my struggle. And I've said that all along from the beginning. Like especially like the first almost year, I would sit here with like sweat going down my back and be having like these tearful, nervous breakdowns. Like, why didn't you tell me we're going on 30 minutes early? I can't do it. Like it was a whole thing. And I really didn't know anything about podcasts at all until Scott and I met like the year before we actually started this podcast, the three of us. And so I didn't even know about like alternative media or like that I had no idea. And then once I started doing it, I was like, oh, wow, there are women out here that are doing this, but we're like there's a few of us. This is a tiny little community already. And so the fact that there are like strong voices that we stand up, whether or not I think that's the whole, like the courage behind this whole movement, all of us, what we do, but to be like a female in front of a microphone and sitting in a world of men, generally speaking, I think for me, it's kind of like intimidating. And most all of the people that we're talking to initially were like interviewing men, and I'm sitting with two men and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my voice is out there, like, and I'm just like hiding and sweating. And I'm just like, I'm going to say all the things because I'm, you know what I mean?
I just want to say though, that I call to action on you women, because I think that the women were the most red people I know, red-pilled people I know.
100%.
Like the women, like, because preceding this, I mean, what led me into this was like the vaccinations and the, you know, the that movement, the whole health freedom movement, and that's a movement of moms.
It is.
That is moms. That is lots of moms, and moms know what's up. And they are doing like the real work of like going to the senators' offices, and they're going to the Capitol buildings, and they're doing all the work preceding COVID. You know, and they I think a lot of us that were kind of part of that movement saw this right out of the gate, what was going on, you know, they're like, oh, something ain't right with this whole COVID thing. Right. Yeah. And we were predicting the vaccine in April of last year, you know, right. Like, so
the vaccine.
So call to action on all you mamas.
Yep.
Right. Get a mic and do this. Cause there's not, I mean, I know probably 10 strong women for every guy I know that's been fighting against this thing. Right. Yeah. But not as many of them do have mics.
Yeah.
Well, I think too that there are so many people in general that have all the same thoughts and feelings that we all have, or they see the same thing, and maybe they just don't have the community. Like, I know I wouldn't be as vocal with people I don't know if I didn't have this platform, in terms of, I don't mean the microphone, I mean of like the freedom cells, the backing of having other people that know what's up, that I can bounce ideas off of, saying like, hey, I don't understand this. What do you think about this? Like, that whole thing is such a, shoot, I always lose my train of thought when I start trying to articulate this a little bit, but just—
Did you have your TRS today? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Nice, Scott.
Sorry. Shameless plug. Bad.
But I think more than anything, when I've doubted my voice the most, or I've like later thought, oh man, I really like got personal. I really said something that was close to my heart, but I don't know if other people, like, I've always worried, how will it be received? But then I get like women in particular that will write me and say like, what you said, I so related to. I'm so glad that you spoke up. I'm so thankful that you X, Y, and Z, or I totally related to this part, or, you know, when you're doing this with your kids, like I've had a number of that happening since we started doing this, and it's almost exclusive. I've had some men reach out and be very relatable, but I think that women too, they just, you know, it's like you say, it's just an empowering thing, because, and I said this over and over, it doesn't matter who you are, but when you speak up in your courage and in your truth, it empowers other people to do the same. And when you're relatable, and we're all relatable to someone different, right? That's the whole reason why we all have these different traits and personalities, but whatever it is that's within me, that's going to resonate with somebody out there. And whatever it is that's within Scott and Ed and either of you, there's something each of us brings that needs to be heard. And that continued to give me encouragement that whatever it was, I said back behind the microphone. And even if I doubt myself, and even if it doesn't always come out just right, it comes out right enough to where it's hitting people and they feel like they're not alone in how they feel. They're not alone in what they're struggling with. And in that too, it connects us.
And it helps us too. Like that. I mean, I'm sure you guys can relate. Like this, I mean, I felt crazy for the first part of COVID, right? Like,
yeah, 100%.
I was literally like, I mean, I've told the story many times, but I was literally calling Scott on my lunch breaks, like, because he's the only person I could actually talk to that like understood what the fuck was going on. And I was like, dude, like everyone around me is completely lost their mind. I'm like going to this office and no one sees through this. I'm like, this is all lies. It's all propaganda. It's all garbage. And like, eventually we just came to the conclusion that we just need to get our voices out, right? Like we just need to say it out loud, put it out there into the universe, right? And that's kind of where ours spawned from, you know?
Yeah. It's been amazing having listeners email us and tell us their stories, and just to know that we're not crazy. Like there are plenty of people out there that want to fight this, that want to build community, that want to get out of this system.
Some people that are already out of the system kind of
they are
reaching out to us, letting us know you got it, keep going, you know. So that's always a word of encouragement. Something that you said, Megan, totally clicked with me, because it's something I told you before we started this podcast, when you said, who wants to hear what I have to say? And I said, you never know who needs to hear what you have to say.
That's true.
So
it's just that if you build it, they will come concept again too. You know what I mean? Like, it really, really is, you know, like Ed and I were, before we got on here, like I was venting. I was like, you know, I was just like, Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now. Okay. Now you're all worried about the mandates. Okay. Great. Thank you. You should have started a podcast last year. You should have built a freedom cell, fuckers. Now you're all coming and now you're worried about the vax mandate. Okay, I got you right. Okay. Anyway, so I was venting.
What happened to the apocalyptimist?
Yeah. No. I'm just
I know.
But you know what I mean. But you guys did it, man. You guys did it, and it's so badass, dude. I have just like the utmost respect, and I will say it again. Anybody out there that's listening, do great. Get some mics and just do this thing. There's like I know all the self talk. Like, oh, there's too many podcasts out there. Oh, it's way too late to start a podcast. No, do it. 100%. Like somebody out there needs to hear what you have to say.
Right.
Yeah.
And the truth is too, and then I always lean on this too, like we're all given different gifts. And so not everybody does stand in front of a microphone, but there are plenty of people that go stand at their school board meetings. Totally. There are plenty of people that will email their senators. There are plenty of people that will pull the mask off at the grocery store and say no, or, argue for their children. They're like, we're all part of the same body doing different jobs to the same end. And that's very,
that's
very
powerful. That's a good point. Maybe it's not podcasting.
No, I know. And I'm not to take away what you're saying.
No, but I agree with you. Like maybe not everybody, but what I'm saying is like if they're, whatever it is, it's in your heart that you feel like you need to do to stand up for what you believe in, do it,
Yeah. Right.
100%. So
because in some way, and that's just it. Your voice, the voice matters.
But I feel like the common theme and all that is like the fear. If you're having fear, that you need to just push through that. Cause like Legs, you were saying, there's like a fear component to it. And the whole like worried about what people are going to think or what they're going to say, hearing my voice out there. Like, it's just like, they say courage isn't the absence of fear. It's like being fearful, but doing it anyway.
Absolutely.
That's like, it's just, this last year, I'm like, it's like I've said before, it's like working a muscle, like the tyranny muscle, like fighting tyranny. It's like building a muscle. Like a year ago, like I'm way more resilient now than I was a year ago. Now, when I get like Antifa hitting us up on the thing, it's just like, I can just like
sending their love notes through.
I can just like smile and laugh at it, dude, with like their vicious attacks. I'm just like, dude, this is great. Like your hatred makes me stronger. I just love it, dude. I just love it. Like we had a blistering round of attacks from people like right after I lost my job. Like it's crazy. God, and I imagine they're all coworkers, like old coworkers or whatever. But thank you guys for your help on that. You guys are awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's just been crazy. But yeah, no, this guy, it was funny. Like he said, he's like, this is why nobody takes you seriously for some weird thing. And I'm like, oh, the irony of someone from Antifa telling me that people don't take me seriously.
Why did you give someone from Antifa your phone number?
Oh no, it was they hit us up on the Truthzilla, like messenger.
Okay.
Like
they sent us some hate message into our to our
which it happens.
I actually went to the Antifa hangout and put it on the bathroom.
Oh yeah, there you go. We offered
unbeknownst to our producer
for a good time. Text this number.
Yeah, exactly. We offered him like, why don't you come on the show? Why don't you come on the show and defend your position? And of course, he wasn't willing to do that. So it's like
they don't know how to defend their position.
Yeah,
because they don't have a position to defend.
Like, what about all this fascism? I mean, there's like all this fascism going on over here, guys. Like, we could go do something about that. Like, I'm totally down. If you guys want to roll on that fascism, let's do it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, though, I just think that they're lost. I do think, we had John Paul Rice on recently.
Yeah.
Really, like,
he did.
Like, they're the victims, man. They're the victims of a system that is, they probably didn't have good parents, first of all, right? And they ended up on the streets, and they're just like, this became their best option of grouping up with people, right? And that's. So it's terrible, but it's also like, I think we're coming to a point where being angry at the other side is we're just playing into the division that we're being spoon fed from the CNNs and all that, like, right. Like we're not going to win by like playing divided we fall, all of us, right?
Yeah. And that has been impressed upon my heart a whole bunch lately. And I was just telling the guys on the way in today that I've just had like more and more of my heart kind of just shifts and grows and changes as according, when you know better, you do better. And I say that all of the time. And a lot of times we don't know better. We're doing the best we can. But all of the time that what was the last thing you were just saying?
That they're just victims of
that they're just victims. And so like this generation, all of us, you seem younger than I am, but around our generation, like we're the last ones that were taught any form of the old school think for yourself in public school. We're the last ones that played outside and drank out of water hoses. And I know that seems like a silly thing to say, but it's a really big deal because we didn't have our entire humanity stripped from us in the way of something digital in front of us 24/7 for the most part.
We remember a world before Google.
Yeah,
What?
absolutely. Right. And so to that
Before the
degree,
internet.
Before the internet.
the families, the kids that have come after us that went through, especially the whole public school indoctrination thing and who they are now, what they've become. It really is like you say, it's not their fault. And even for all of us sitting at this table, for me, I'll speak to myself. It's so hard to fight your way out of this matrix. It's so hard to all of a sudden wake up and realize that oh yeah, all of it's a lie. And then the next year, like, oh, all of it's a lie. And then like a month or two goes by and I'll like talk to the guys. I'm like, I know we said all of it was a lie, but I just like realized like the veil just keeps peeling back and peeling back. So I do have this whole thing that was like just a conviction on my heart lately. Like, I'm always like this vax, not vax. And even as much as I say, I don't like the division, I don't want the division. And that really is true. But then deep inside, I'm like bitter. Like, why did you take the vaccine? Why are you still masking your kids? You masking your kids is screwing it up for my kids. Mm-hmm. And that cannot be who I am in this quote unquote spiritual war. That can't be my place in this war because we're already divided. America is already falling down. I can't be standing in the rubble going, look, I told you the buildings were falling. I need to be like with the first aid kit standing on the outside of the fallen building going, okay, this building fell. Later. Well, look at all the what? Look at all these passports later.
Perfectly intact.
The one passport, the one. But I just feel like, as much as I'm frustrated and upset, in particular because of how it affects my children and my children's future, because we've all said we're less concerned about ourselves than the ones that come after. Yes. We all want a quality of life. We all want what we want.
Yeah.
But we're concerned for our children and for the little ones that are come after, the little ones whose parents don't know better and aren't speaking up for them. And so to that degree, there is such a huge amount of empathy on my heart because it literally is. And I mean, it's like, like scripture will say, like, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They literally don't know. And if they've been given vaccines and now a lot of these kids, they've had the 72 jabs, they've been put through public school. They've been told that BLM is the answer. They've been told that Trump was the enemy. They've been told that, anything that had to do with spiritual or their family was the problem. They've been oppressed. They've had everything that was real in their mind stripped from them. And so then here we are, the domestic terrorists going, don't take the jab. And they're like, you're trying to murder everyone. And while you're at it, you're trying to kill the planet that we need. And so they've been sold a narrative. And so as much as it was hard for me to wake my own self up with the determination to do so, it's hard. It's harder yet if you've never been awakened to or even taken a glimpse of what the truth looks like. And so in that, my heart rises above like what you're like, how you've been dealing with the Antifa guy. Like really, you have come at it like respectfully better than I would have, because you were like, let me talk to him. I'm like, yeah, tear him up. And then later I was like, okay, I'm not.
We actually had a pretty civil discussion. It was pretty interesting. Like, but, he was all like, fuck you fucking, and I'm like, yeah.
There's a time for yelling and a time for waking people up. Yeah. And for my own self, I'm like, whoever is awake or whoever needs to still hear hope, that's where I stand now, because we are the terribly small minority in terms of those of us that haven't taken this jab in our communities, at least in our community. Mm-hmm. We need to be able to, the people who were brainwashed and who are going to be hurt, who are hurting, who are suffering side effects, whose families are going to lose people that they love to this. We need to be the ones that are still shining that light, not just for the ones that knew when we were going, oh, look, the buildings are falling. We need to be the ones in the middle of the rubble saying, I'm still here to help you. I still come to you with love. Steel. not just because you agreed and saw the future I saw coming, not just because you stood by me the whole way of this war, the whole way of this spiritual battle, but at any point that you joined the spiritual battle, we're still all in this together. And that's, I think, a really important place to be.
Oh, girl, preach.
Wow. Yeah.
She's the Truthzilla superpower.
Yeah, really is. Oh, wow. So you guys want to talk music for a little bit? Like, what's going on? Like, you guys had us send you our top 3 picks. What would be your guys' pick for today? Like, if you could choose a song, like, what would be your pick for today?
Oh man,
like, what are you feeling right now?
You guys are like, you guys had some minutes to think about it. This feels like it's on the spot.
Yeah. Not fair.
Well, we kind of do pick. One of the things that we do to like amp ourselves up for a show is we'll each pick a song and we'll listen to it. And she picked. What song did you pick?
Oh man, I gotta bring it.
It's called Downtown, I believe.
Yeah, it's not really well known.
Yeah, it's not super duper popular.
It's called Downtown. Hold on, let me pull it up. Stereo MCs. I don't know if you guys.
No. No, I'll have to check it out.
They're from the 90s. Their famous song is Connected.
Yeah.
Okay. Stereo MC sort of sounds familiar.
I don't want to do it. I'm embarrassed. But I was gonna start singing it. But yeah, it's Stereo MCs. It's
Downtown
Junket. How do you say this, babe?
Literatura. It's like literature, but in Spanish.
Literatura. Literatura.
It's like a house type, chill, mellow type song.
Yeah, a lot of drums.
Sax-led jam with rich percussion that exudes warmth, joy, and positivity.
Wow.
Apparently.
Wow. Do you guys?
The definition?
It's a downtown. How did you say it? Literatura.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That one. And Stereo MCs featuring Junket, and then it just like has like a little description. So
there you go.
Right on.
I've got it on my list for the drive home.
Right on. You guys should check out this band. Megan wore a band shirt tonight.
Yes, I did.
Check out these guys. It's called Hot Piranha.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys definitely got to check out Hot Piranha. Check out the song "The Tower."
The Tower, Hot Piranha.
Okay, wait, no. Yes, that is a fantastic song, The Tower. I'm sorry. Okay, but my most favorite song. What's my most favorite one?
Stay. Yeah.
Okay,
and that's by them.
You'll see why.
You'll see what's going on.
Okay.
We should email them a link to the song.
Oh yeah, I'll send you guys like.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Then we'll all have a good laugh next time.
Okay.
We do have a close connection to that group, all of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys friends?
You can say that.
You could say that.
Are you the band?
I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off air.
We'll tell you our names. We'll tell you our names off air too.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Man. So what's next, you guys? What do you think?
Buffalo hasn't picked his song.
Oh yeah.
Buffalo. Yeah. What's that?
So the song that I picked is by Rufus Du Sol. We're big fans of that group. That group is like they've progressed. Every album gets better and better. I feel like I don't know how you describe them. Like kind of electronic, kind of rockish a little.
Would you say Rufus?
Rufus, like spelled RUFUS. Rufus Du Sol. Yeah.
Okay.
And the song is called Next to Me. It's like one of their, it just came out, but the lyrics kind of really hit me because it's kind of talking about like at the end, all I want is you standing next to me, kind of all this whole thing. And I'm like, I just told her, I was like, we're kind of in the climax of civilization right now. I feel like
perfect description.
Coming towards an end. I just need her here. So as long as she's here standing next to me, I think we'll be okay.
I love that.
I had that mood this week. That was my mood.
I think you just hit the episode title right there. I think that's really good. Civilization climax right there.
Isn't it? It's
man. Yes. So you guys sent us some pretty interesting songs. Ed, I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard. Is the K the band or is the B the band?
Caveller Talk is the band.
Yeah, they're the band.
Okay. Who?
So they're a Norwegian like metal band.
Oh, metal band. Okay.
They hit the scene.
He's
probably,
I'm like, yes.
I'm gonna guess 2012 or something like that. They were like when they're from Norway. I think it was in their second album. They got like some big award over there, and they started touring the U.S. I saw them a handful of times. They were hitting. Like a lot of the musicians were really into them. Of like, I mean, I'm kind of like an 80s butt rocker guy and like punk rock and stuff like that. And so, anyways, I remember one of my friends went and saw them in L.A. and James Hetfield was there watching them. Right, so like they were kind of like making waves in the scene. People were like, "Who is this? Who's this new band?" And all their lyrics are in Norwegian. And that was kind of like one of their first big songs. Like that's on their first album, and it's. If you ever watch the video, it's like all like cartoon hand drawn, but it's just it's just like Vikings like chopping off the heads of owls and blood everywhere.
What?
It's amazing. I love it.
That's hilarious.
I love like my metal and my
Vikings and owls. That is what's going to be in my head tonight.
I think you're the only unvaccinated punk rocker left, Ed.
I might be the only unvaccinated punk rocker left. Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. I'm keeping it alive for the new Amish community.
Yes.
I love that new Amish. You got to make That's at least for something else. That's at least a
New
blog title or
Amish,
something.
The new Amish.
That'll be the name of the community we start when we buy land.
New Amish.
The new Amish.
I know, when we all
The
come
new-
together.
I love
New
it.
Amish
Yes.
order. Yes.
The new Amish
New
order.
Amish.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
an order now.
Yes. The order of the new Amish. Yes.
Okay, it's starting.
That's
to
not
sound
very
like a secret
cultish.
You have to be.
It's
society.
very
Yep,
cultish.
Yep.
You have to be unvaccinated to get in, huh?
Yeah, oh,
Is that
yeah,
what it's
totally.
going? Yeah, okay.
Totally.
We're gonna
Man.
run a panel on you and make sure you're unvaccinated.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we just totally go the other direction. You're
Yep.
gonna have that tighter test. Sorry.
Yep. Damn.
Oh, man.
Heck yeah, guys.
Your
What'd you
choice
pick,
was like
Scott?
really nostalgic, Megan.
I did. Okay. So I don't know, you guys may not know, but I lost my mother to suicide some years back. And I've always had a hard time kind of like revisiting nostalgic stuff from my childhood since then. And I've just had like a whole lot of healing in a lot of areas and a lot of just like self-realizations and just like a lot of forward intentional progress over the last year. And one of those things was not hitting skip on songs that maybe like moved my heart or made me feel a certain way. And Neil Young was like always like her little vibe, like when I was little, even all the way up into my teenage years. And then even still when I was a grown up, I'd go to her house sometimes and there would be Neil on. And so I've been doing this walk around my side of town, like on these little walking trails. And so I just been putting Neil Young on, and it doesn't make me feel sad anymore, in fact. And my kids were even like, Mom, who's this new band? Because I listen to like a lot of electronic like dance music and like the Lumineers, and I have like such a crazy like mix. And so my kids are like, who is this new person? I'm like, well, actually, so I got to kind of explain like, this is what grandmother used to listen to in the car when I was little. So it's totally nostalgic and not what I necessarily would always listen to, but it's just been like something that's been impactful super recently that I've been able to just kind of like play it. And it feels, I sent it to a friend and she was like, wow, she's like, Neil Young, that's kind of heavy. And I was like, is it? And I was like starting to listen to the lyrics. I don't, when you've heard music since you were little, it's just whatever the song is. Like, I don't know what song it is. Every time you go away, you take a piece of me with you. But until I was 27, I thought he was saying you take a piece of meat. And so my kids crack up, but I was like, literally, like, it never even occurred to me that was a weird lyric. I just knew that that's what he was saying my entire life.
That's what the Miller Talk would do. They would just take a little piece of meat each time.
So anyways, yeah, that's kind of what ended up happening. Normally I'm listening to something much more bouncy and up and loud and maybe kind of crazy, like, workout music, but, or, what I say, good driving music. But then lately I've just kind of been taking it back to like, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Neil Young and whatever, like Cat Stevens, and so like I have all this playlist that has like the Lumineers, and then it has like My Chemical Romance, and there's like 3 Christian artists, and then there's like Jeff Foxworthy comedy, and then there's like Neil Young, it's just like, and it just goes in this like, whatever I felt that week.
Wow.
I know.
You know what radio station you'd really like, Megan? It's called Modern Retro
Modern
Radio.
Retro Radio. I love Modern Retro.
ModernRetroRadio.com.
Yes,
they
they're
play
rad.
They play all the new hits from the old artists. There you go. ModernRetroRadio.com.
Shout out to Audis.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the story with that.
Yeah.
Neil Young, Out on the Weekend. That's a great.
Out on the Weekend.
I like that song actually. When you said it, I was like, oh, I know that song.
It feels good. It just feels like you turn your phone off, you roll your windows down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do you play the song if you turn your phone off?
Oh, this is a good point.
Oh,
This is a good point.
You're gonna have to get CDs and albums.
Ed,
like
you just had to jump in
vinyl,
there and
dude.
into the okay, but let's just pretend that I wasn't playing through my Bluetooth through my phone into my stereo in my
Vinyl.
car. That's fine.
Yeah.
I did buy a CD.
Okay, cool.
I did buy a Neil Young CD last week at Barnes and Noble.
Cool.
Because I wasn't going to give Amazon money.
Good
And so I
job.
went
Look
to
at that.
Barnes and Noble and I bought a Neil Young CD in case of the apocalypse.
So one of the last bands I saw before this shit all went down was Speed Dealer. And I told them that I kept waiting to get their music online, their new album. And they're like, it just hasn't been released on there. So they just gave me a CD.
Wow.
I never listened to the CD. I like everything I have is digital now. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have this great CD, but I just don't listen to it. I feel kind of bad.
Yeah. Man, it is what it is.
Not that bad.
but not
What it
that
is.
bad.
Yeah.
I have a Hot Piranha CD.
Oh yeah. I have a few though.
Do you have a few?
Yeah. Anyway, so
I listen to it online.
yeah.
Online, yeah.
So I Yeah.
So yeah, your choice, Scott, was pretty
Okay.
interesting too.
Have you guys? Yeah. So that song has always been one of my favorites. Like, yeah, it's
Which
definitely
one is
not.
it?
So I sent the Buena Vista Social Club that.
Oh
song
no way! The
Yeah.
one that I left
Yeah,
in
it's
the
called-
mornings.
Yeah, it's called Chan Chan,
Yeah.
and it's a great song. It always
It's
it's a great little jam.
Yeah.
But like the morning or the day before you guys sent me that, like I was at like Trudy's. Shout out to it's a restaurant called Along Came Trudy's here in Springfield, Oregon. They've stayed open this whole time. It's just been like the face of freedom this whole time, dude.
No
Like
mask.
like no mask. They had like in the beginning they had like armed security at the door. Like if OSHA showed up, like just to chase them off. Like it's been like
Nice.
shout out to Along Came
Lots of
Trudy's.
freedom events.
Yeah, yeah.
there.
Then they host freedom events. So I was at a freedom event the night
Medical
before, and it was crazy. It was very riveting. Like it was like the day. It was like the second, and all the nurses got fired on the 31st. You know what I mean? And so like it was just a room full of nurses and healthcare people and like a bunch of really good speakers. And there was a band, and they played that song, and I was like, yeah, I know this song. It was great. And so it was in me when you guys sent that email. I'm like, oh, I gotta send this song. So yeah, it's called
Nice.
Chan Chan off the Buena Vista Social
It's
Club.
such a great song.
soundtrack.
I
Yeah.
had forgotten about
It's great.
that.
If you listen closely, it's so great because there's this like one person in the song. You can tell it's just like a big jam. It's like a room full of like if you watch the documentary too, it's like a room full of people like just jamming. They just jam like at an old folks home or something like that. It's really cool. And like you can tell there's like this one guy like sitting in the corner, like his only job is just to do the slide. There's like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
so-
you know what I mean? Like he's just sitting there waiting for his chance the whole time during the song, and then all of a sudden just like and you're just like, oh yes, like that's like the
Oh my
best part.
God.
You know what I
It's-
mean? So yeah.
Picturing
It's a
Krista walking
totally
down the aisle.
uplifting song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scott told me about the song like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then after that, I like fell in love with the song. Said I was playing it in the mornings back when my kids still went to school because we weren't masked and we still lived in the other matrix. But we would play that in the morning, and it became like a whole thing to where when I didn't play it, they're like, can you play the morning song? Like
Yeah.
it's like such a great
cute.
vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Love it.
Oh man.
Love it. Good
Awesome.
choices.
Yeah.
Megan, what
Yeah.
are some Christian bands that you're
So let
I
me
grew- I
King
grew
and
up-
Country.
okay?
For King and Country, for sure. They're fantastic. I really like them a lot. Who else? Let's see, like 3 Days. I probably name older bands like 3 Days Grace
Right,
and Jeremy Camp. And trying to think. I was hearing one the other day.
Are you familiar with DC Talk?
Oh yeah, that was like the first Christian band I ever bought a CD for.
Oh my God.
Yeah, same.
Are you serious? I like the whole Jesus Freak song. I remember them.
Yes.
Okay, yep. And I remember
know.
like being like jamming in my car with my babies in their car seat, like, Jesus Freak song, and then they played it in church one time when I was like in my 20s, and I was like, this is like a whole thing. So yeah, that's funny you said that. I hadn't thought of that in forever.
Oh, it's so I always mention that band randomly, and people are like, "Who? What?" I grew
Yeah.
up.
I think
Oh,
I've
yeah.
even heard of them. I remember them.
DC
Yeah,
Talk, yeah.
Heard of them. Yeah.
But yeah, for King and Country, I think lately they have this incredible, beautiful song, and I'll leave it here. So they have they're singing with their wives. Because these it's like men, and so they bring their wives and they sing a song called Pioneers. I get goosebumps when I just talk about it.
Ooh.
But they're literally talk about have we lost our tune? Why are we singing off tune? We need to. It basically is just like, and they're like singing to each other's. I get goosebumps singing to each other's faces, just about how they want to go out into the world together and be pioneers and build their lives and build their memories and lift each other up. It's just it's so impactful. So yeah, that's another one that's on the playlist. But yeah.
I'll pull that up and listen to that.
Heck yeah.
I'm all lost with the Christian music. I guess I never got into it. I wasn't cool.
You didn't
enough.
grow up Christian.
Well, I grew up Mormon. I was born Mormon.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we didn't, there's no Mormon bands, that's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
an
that's
untapped
true.
market.
I was just about to say, hey,
I liked MXPX as a kid.
MXPX. I don't know
They were a
MXPX.
Christian punk rock band.
Okay.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Were they considered Christian punk?
They
rock?
were at first. I don't know if they maintained
wow.
that status, but
They
when they came onto the scene, they were considered a Christian punk rock band.
interesting.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
Huh. I don't even know who that is.
Oh.
I think I've heard of them too. MXPX.
They were like the Christian answer to Green Day at the time.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I actually hadn't heard about them either, but
Maybe I'm thinking of NoFX. Maybe.
talk about nostalgia, the whole DC Talk thing that threw me back. I'm still
Hey.
there. Wow, DC
Start-
Talk. That's like a whole time of my life I forgot.
I'll throw another one at you. Jars of Clay.
Oh yeah. What?
Hey.
Okay. That's so bizarre. Wow. I feel like I want to go home and eat cotton candy and like do like I'm like, okay, where are like my dolls from childhood? I just want to like sit in the whole vibe of it now. Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're only 33, so
Yeah.
we're not
Okay.
There
too
you
much
go.
younger than you guys, I imagine.
I'm only 33 plus like 10-ish.
Okay.
That ain't
Yeah.
too bad.
Still young.
That's still young.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling myself. I'm like, it's so funny because okay, so I have my hair's all dreaded, and so obviously I don't wash it every single day. And like after a number of times, especially like I've been out in the sun and at the rivers with my kids and whatever, and so it kind of like it'll start to seem like it's darker, like until I wash it and I do the full like vinegar rinse. Like right now, I'm like, oh, it's blonde. It's like lightening up around my face. And I looked when I washed it last week, and I got close. I'm like, it's not blonde. It's white. It's all turning like white through here, like his Cruella de Vil, but like in this like crazy headband way. And my kids were like, but it looks good, Mom. I'm like, nobody look at me. I'm like plucking them. And like my girlfriend's like, I'm like, you can't pluck them. If you pluck one, they're all going to come back. It's like rabbits. Like you pluck one and like 80 come in their place. And my mom and my grandma are both gone now. So no one can talk sense to me. So I'm just like, pull it back, nobody look. But anyways, yeah, that's man. That went way down a female crisis of my hair's turning white on the hills of DC talk. So Scott forbade me from doing it. Scott said I'm not allowed to shave my head.
Yeah.
He said it can't be.
I'm not great.
We'll get you a dreadlock wig. You can shave your head. We'll get you a dreadlock wig.
Oh my God.
Well, the guys were trying to tell me, I was like, you guys, they're like, dude, they're like, Ed, he's so encouraging. He's like, no, he's like, it's great. It's fine. And I'm like, I know you guys are trying to be super like encouraging, but I follow at least 2, if not 3 accounts on Instagram. That's like the Silver Fox guys. Like they're fully dressed, but it's like a guy reading a book on the subway, but he's like all silver and it's beautiful because men and women, we don't have like that same grace as we age. Like women are like drooling over like all the gray and it's all white and it's all noble and they look like mature. And like the rest of us are just like, I'm like, how many accounts do you guys follow that are like women, like Silver Foxes? Tell me right now. Pull it up on your phones and tell me how attractive it actually is.
I mean, stop that.
I know. See, he's so sweet too.
Here's the deal. I don't follow all these people that are attractive. And I don't do that, man. I got friends. I have social media, I got friends. And like any more social media sucks anyways. So fuck all that. But but I do think that standard is more in your mind than you think.
It probably is.
I'm a 43-year-old man and I'm attracted to 43-year-old women.
I love that.
Right? I am. I know plenty of women with gray hair that I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
Listen, women in our 30s and 40s, we're actually women and we know what's up. So we are technically more attractive, I say.
Yeah.
With my headband of white.
And it's different for guys too. So guys like we'll go gray, right? But if you're an old guy and you dye your hair, like that just looks like shit. That looks
you can't
terrible.
do that.
But women can dye their hair till they're almost dead, and they look.
yeah. Just saying. Even after they're dead, we can do it too.
Holy shit!
We can have a whole business of.
You are not wrong. You are not at all wrong. That is hilarious. That's a good observation, actually, and I feel like somewhat like restored a little bit through that.
Yeah. And I look at white hairs as though you earn these hairs. These are hairs you earn,
Sometimes my kids won't stop and it's like 9:40 and I've been telling them to brush their teeth for like the last 45 minutes and I'm like, do you look at my face? Do you see this line in between? Like can you feel like you're my child and I'm a very empathetic person. Like, can you feel energy? Do you see the look on my face? Can you feel it? Do you see what's happening to my hair? Brush your teeth.
Oh my God.
Hey, at least your kids can brush their teeth.
They
I
can.
have to brush my kids' teeth.
Oh no!
It's literally screaming. It's like screaming, and it's like keep the mouth open.
Like you to do the thing. You know how you do like with puppies when you have to give them a treat.
Yeah.
You're doing with kids. Like I understand.
Oh,
They're
man.
screaming. Scott still has never changed a dirty diaper.
Yes.
I'm saying on air.
Yes.
Once in his life.
No, not gonna happen.
Exactly. It's time, right?
Nope.
He can't go through the whole human experience without having changed meconium off of a new baby.
Well, it's like for every instance that I have a feeling like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to have a kid. I hear like what you guys just shared. I'm like, oh, thank God. And there's like 10 of those for every one that I'm like, oh.
And every time what you earn as a parent is get to make fun of this shit.
Okay,
And to do that, but at the
I can
same
make
time,
fun of
I've
it too.
told you a million times, Scott. Told you a million times, like, dude, there is nothing more rewarding that you will
I
ever do.
know.
in
I
your
mean, I
entire
know.
life
It's
I'm
true.
trying to
than to raise a
justify it.
child.
I know.
They're
I
never-
know.
It's just not. It's just not. Sorry.
Listen, I'm okay. Listen, here's the thing, Scott. I feel like the good compromise is that you like that's a huge commitment, but I think
Yeah.
at least changing poopy diapers. Like, look at it. He's just like, yeah, that's
Like-
never
he's
gonna
like, nah,
happen.
I'm not doing
He's
that.
not gonna do it.
No.
Scott, I'm to help you out. I'm gonna wear a diaper. For the
Oh,
next 2 days.
no. No.
Oh,
No,
this
no,
is
no.
what happens. This is our freedom.
Okay, we'll put it
cell
on
conversation.
It's gonna be a Truthzilla Rockfin exclusive.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. We'll put it on
Diaper
Patreon or Rockfit exclusive.
Oh my
Scott
God.
changes.
Patreon really won't do it justice. I think it's
Yeah.
got to be on video.
Rockfin. Okay, Rockfin Premium. All right.
So good. Yeah.
At least 4 times I wanted to die. At least 4 times since we've.
Oh, jeez.
You guys
Man.
are great, man. You guys are
Oh,
great.
You guys are great too. This is so much fun.
Definitely.
You know, we'll have to have you guys on for like a clown town. You guys come on and talk
Yeah.
shit about the news for us with us one of these days.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
I love talking
so
shit.
down.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
I love the Clown Town updates.
Yeah.
They crack
Okay.
me up.
Okay. We'll have you guys on. We wanted to do more of like collaborating with people, but for us, it's like it's hard to pin down a time when we'll actually be able to do it. And so I don't
Yeah.
know. Like we might just like be like, hey, you guys want to do this tonight or something like that, or try
Yeah.
to
That's
give
fine.
advance notice. But
Cool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So,
Let us
We're on the same
know.
coast as you. It's all good.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Totally.
Whenever we're down.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else, you guys?
Do you
Oh.
guys want to end with some white pills?
Yeah. Do you want to end with a white pill? Do you guys have
Yes.
white pills?
White pills.
wanna-
Okay. Yes. So for all the trash talking that I did and all the black pilling that I had earlier today, one of the things I have been talking about a lot is that they're going to push too hard, too fast. And I feel like this might be it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's not because I've already just got a series of messages from people throughout today, like, oh my God, like now it's getting real. I'm like, yeah, now it's getting real.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people asking for resources about, you know, vaccine exemptions and stuff like that, religious exemptions. Cause like I've been talking about a lot about that.
Mhm.
And I'm still going to talk about it. You know, if you
Mhm.
guys have if you guys need any help with religious exemptions, hit me up. You know, but like, I feel like this might be the thing that pushes people too far. And I feel like more people are going to be out in the streets. And I feel like more people are going to wake up and more people are going to be like, hey, I heard this thing on this show called False Reality Check. You guys should check it out, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like it's going to start this cascade or domino effect. And I hope that this is it. And I hope it doesn't have to get worse than this. But, you know, that's my white pill for today is that this is the thing that's going to push people towards truth.
Mm.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I would just expand on that a little bit. I mean, I think, yeah, I think every time they push, they've gotten more pushback, right? Like there has been people waking up. I mean, today there are more people awake than there ever was.
Yeah, I'm way more awake. Even the people that
And
were
even,
awake.
even the people
Yeah.
that are going along, like how many people do you know that have gotten this vaccine did it because they believed in the vaccine and they believed it was gonna protect them from this virus? Like, no, they all did it out of coercion or against it. They're not against us though. They're really not. They don't want this mandate. They don't want mandated medicine where they get to inject you with everything. I mean, we were in that room with the nurses, you know, last week, and there were people in there that were vaccinated, but they stood with us, right? And I know people, like I talked to someone just the other day that said, you know, I got the vaccine. I didn't really want to do it, but I'm still really against this mandate. Just told me like out of the blue, just to like, we stand together. And I said, you know what? I totally support your right to make that choice.
Absolutely.
Even though I don't want that choice to be like, that wouldn't be
Forced
my
on
choice.
us.
It's not my choice, but at the same time, it is your right. What I would like is for you to have all the information.
Yes.
I think that there's a huge problem with censorship right now, and that's really the core of so much of this is just it's the information war. Like people just don't see both sides, right? But my hope that I've always tried to give, or lately I've been really pushing upon though, is that I don't think the biggest piece of this for them to really lock down the world is that Fed-backed digital currency, the central bank digital currency. And I do not believe it's ready. I do not believe, I believe they're trying it in China, but it's like in one province, right? So it's not like even across China, but this for really them to lock down the way they want to lock down the world. And their whole plan is that is a key piece so they can turn us off and on, turn us financially off and on. They do not have that piece in place. And what they're doing is exactly what Scott's saying is they're waking a whole bunch of people up to this shit before they're ready to pull it off.
Mhm.
For sure.
So I think there is hope there. I'm not saying it's not going to get darker before it gets light again, but this is the opportunity for us. This is our time to shine. This is our time in history to stand up against tyranny and to do what's right, to be on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Like this is, I consider it's an honor to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Really, to be speaking truth.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well said.
Love it.
Megan, you got any white pills for us?
I don't know. I don't know that I have white pills today. I would love to hear more white pills. I think that the biggest thing I would say is the we win thing. We say that all of the time. And I think what's really important to understand is what we're trying to win is not win back what we had, not win back that ugly lie that we were all living. And like you say, there's so many people that are now awake to it, whether or not they've, for whatever reason, fallen in line with this, vaccine through coercion or through their jobs, or just so that they could travel or whatever it was that was pumped into them. But what we're fighting for is on the other side is, it's going to get darker first. I fully agree with that. But the light on the other side will be a real light. It'll be a real chance to thrive. It will be something that we all really strove our whole lives and will continue to strive to have, but this time we'll actually hold it. This time it'll actually be something intentional that we can hold it for those that come after us, and we'll do it all together.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
100%.
I love it.
Better
That
world
was a
for
great
our
white
children.
pill.
Yeah. You guys got any white pills for us?
Yeah, I can share one. So it kind of depends. You guys know who Michael Malice is?
Yeah. He's great.
So he shared on an interview a while back, and it's one I like to bring out because people forget that during World War II, when the Nazis were separating children from their parents at the camps, and they were forced to take these children out and execute them, they couldn't do it. They had to march the children around in the snow until the children died of exposure. They could not pull the trigger. So in the face of clear present evil, there are good people that just can't take that last step. And they can't do it. And that, to me, proves that they will lose and we will lose.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It may have to get to that point, but I agree.
I think it's going to get ugly before it gets any better, but we're getting together, we're banding together to fight this thing, and we're going to win.
Yeah.
Like good will prevail in the end.
It's true.
And I'm willing to fight. We don't have kids, but I'm willing to fight for our nephews, for your guys' kids, for future generations. I don't want to leave this earth just like shit. I don't know how else to put it. Just other generations where I don't want to bag on the boomer generation, but you only have one life here. Use up all the resources you can. Like just this mentality, this ugly mentality, but it can't be that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get out of this matrix, build this new world, and it is coming. And I think we will be a part of it. And I can't wait. I'm excited.
Me too.
Me too.
Scared and excited.
Yes, it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
man. Well, you guys, thank you so much.
Yeah,
what a pleasure, you guys. This has
fun.
really been a delight. You guys, I just want to say you both just have really beautiful smiles, and you just have like the way that you look at each other with gentleness and love. Like I feel like I don't know the two of you personally, but just like looking at you two and looking in your faces and the way you look at each other, you guys really have something really beautiful and like a really great team. It seems like to me, like just your connection together. I think it's rare often to see that. And I think it's really, really powerful and beautiful. So it was just a delight to talk to both of you, a total delight.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad there's a fellow female in podcasting that I can talk to.
Absolutely.
We're nothing but clams just swimming in a sea of sausage.
That's another episode title.
Write it down. It's so true. Well, I'll have Scott, or I'll send you my cell phone number. And you can reach out to me anytime. But there's another female that maybe you could get plugged into. I don't know if you listen to, I was going to say Project Cheney. You guys listen to Project Cheney? Okay, so she's like pretty much one of my best friends on the face of the earth. She's fantastic. I adore her. And she's got like, just really incredible, powerful women, very, very intelligent, all different, backgrounds. Mel K, she's another one. She's fantastic. I don't chat with her quite to the same degree, but another one. But anyways, definitely Cheney. And I don't know if you guys have Instagram, but find her and I'll get you my cell phone number. Yeah, we'll all be in touch. But then at least like we'll get us gals.
You guys are in the freaking
Yeah,
Union of the
we're in the
Unwanted
Union
chat with
chat.
us, dude. You guys are.
Oh yeah,
You
okay.
guys are plugged in, dude. You
Well,
guys
but
are
I
plugged.
don't have her cell phone
Okay,
number.
okay.
I'm saying
Okay,
like
yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
private
yeah.
information.
You guys are plugged in. You guys are on. Oh man, I just love it. So great. So great.
Anyways,
So
wow,
awesome.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
3.
Can you
Love you guys.
can you let our listeners know where they can find you guys?
Oh yeah. Okay, yes. So we're at truthzilla.org. You can find all the links to all our stuff. You know, we generally shoot people over for the video, rockfin.com/truthzilla. We don't upload on YouTube really anymore. They just made it very clear they don't want us there. So Rockfin's the best place to get the full Truthzilla experience. We're also on all the audio platforms. You know what I mean? And so yeah, but truthzilla.org will get you
Odyssey, Rumble,
BitChute, Float, and yeah. But anyway, yep. How about you guys for our listeners?
Oh yeah, they can find us at falserealitycheck.com. We put all our
Yes.
content there. We're on all the audio platforms, and they can email us.
Yeah, FRC podcast at protonmail.com.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Love
Right
hearing from
on.
people.
And we are on Instagram.
Oh yeah, Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff at FRC Pod. But yeah, you can find all that information at our site.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome.
Wonderful, guys. Oh,
Thanks so much, guys.
We'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Peace.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the False Reality Check podcast. I'm Buffalo Rambler,
And I am Legs.
and you can find all our work on falserealitycheck.com and for all our social media connections, Twitter and Instagram at FRC Pod, Float and Gab at False Reality Check. We're also on YouTube, and we have a Telegram channel and group. We're starting a locals community, falserealitycheck.locals.com, and you can reach us at frcpodcast@protonmail.com.
Also, you can listen to us on all streaming platforms for the most part: Spotify, Apple, Google. Our RSS feed is on our website, so please go falserealitycheck.com.
And you can support us also at falserealitycheck.com/support. You can create a reoccurring donation or one-time donation on PayPal, Cash App, and we do accept crypto. Our wallets are located there. So thank you for listening, and we look forward to making more content for you.
Appreciate you all. Thank you for listening.
We love you.
Love you.